Lesson 50, Graphing Inequalities. So we're just going to start right with an example of testing numbers to see if they're part of an inequality solution. So we're going to say determine which values in the set are part of the solution. So here's our set. It's 0, 2, 4, 6. And the inequality we want to test is 4y minus 5 is greater than or equal to 11. So we're going to test 0 for y. So we'll do 4 times 0 is 0 minus 5 is negative 5. Is that greater than or equal to 11? Well, no. That's not true. It's not. Okay, so then how about we'll try 2. So 4 times 2 is 8 minus 5 is 3. Is 3 greater than or equal to 11? No. How about 4 times 4 minus 5? So 16 minus 5 is 11. Is that greater than or equal to 11? Yes. And then we'll do 4 times 6, which is 24 minus 5, which is 19. Is that greater than or equal to 11? Yes. So we have 4 and 6. Those are both part of the solutions of this inequality. Now, when we are graphing inequalities, we have to remember when to include the number and when not to include the number. So if I were graphing P is greater than or equal to 3, I'm going to draw my number line. Now remember, you must count by integers, okay? So here is 3. And is 3 greater than or equal to 3? It is. So if you see the or equal to, you color it in, and then you highlight the arrow going up, all the numbers that are greater than 3. If you're not sure which direction to go, plug in a number and see if it works. So if I plugged in 2, is 2 greater than or equal to 3? It's not. So you want to graph the opposite of 2. Now if you had 4 is greater than t, what I like to do is I like to rewrite this, and I just flip the whole thing upside down like a pancake. So I'm going to scoop underneath, flip it over, and say that's t is less than 4. I like to have it flipped over so I can see what I'm doing here. So we have integers. I like to do 2 above, 2 below. It's less than 4, so we put a circle on 4. Is 4 less than 4? Since it's not, we're going to leave the circle open. Then we're going to figure out which direction to shade. So if I plug in a 2, if 2 is less than 4, then I want to shade in that direction. So I come here, and I include an arrow on the end to show that it continues with that end. So one thing to remember is if you have greater than or less than signs, you're going to use an open circle, because you don't want to include the number. If you have a greater than or equal to or less than or equal to sign, you're going to use a closed circle. So that's key. A lot of times we forget which do we use, open or closed. So here's an example where you might be asked to write an inequality for this graph. Y is greater than or equal to 20. So we can look at this. Now we're supposed to use integers. Well, I'm going to use integers counting by 20 So I'm going to use a closed circle. Oh, I forgot to, dang. I just graphed it instead of writing an inequality. All right, I'm going to have to do a different one. And we're going greater than or equal to. That's all right. I'm not going to redo the whole video for this. Let's try again. Okay, I'm going to graph an inequality that goes like this. Let's see. We're going to do, haha. So I'm going to go like this. Open circle on 0, close circle on 4, and then highlight in between. Okay, that's my example. So let's write an inequality. Well, x is between two numbers, so I'm going to put x here. We have less than signs always. The smaller number to the left, the bigger number to the right. Now we have to figure out if we need the equal sign. So 0 has an open circle, so there'll be no bottom of the equal sign. Since 4, that circle is colored in, we're going to put a little line under it. So this is the inequality for that graph. Okay, that's the end of the lesson.